Good Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this hump day. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. In today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with host of George to the Rescue, George Oliphant, discussing this year's kitchen and bath industry show. Enjoy today's program. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Wednesday headlines. In national news, McConnell rebukes RNC, calls January 6th violent insurrection. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell is criticizing the Republican National Committee for censoring two House GOP lawmakers investigating the violent insurrection on January 6, 2021, saying it's not the party's job to police the views of lawmakers. As former President Donald Trump has downplayed the attack by his supporters last year, the worst attack against the Capitol in 2 centuries, the RNC last week took a voice vote to approve censoring Representatives Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger at the party's winter meeting in Salt Lake City. The two Republicans sit on the Democrat-led House committee that is aggressively investigating the siege and has subpoenaed many in the former president's inner circle. The RNC resolution censoring Cheney and Kinzinger accused the House panel of leading a persecution of ordinary citizens engaged in legitimate political discourse, words that drew outrage from Democrats and firm pushback from several GOP senators. The rioters who broke into the Capitol through windows and doors brutally beat law enforcement officers and interrupted the certification of President Joe Biden's victory over Trump. It was a violent insurrection for the purpose of trying to prevent the peaceful transfer of power after a legitimately certified election from one administration to the next, McConnell said on Tuesday. He said he still has confidence in the RNC chair, but the issue is whether or not the RNC should be sort of singling out members of our party who may have different views than the majority. That's not the job of the RNC. The dispute is the latest tug of war within the party over issues that McConnell and others see as politically beneficial and would prefer to talk about in an election year, inflation, for example, versus the discourse over the insurrection and Trump's election lies. The rioters who broke into the Capitol were repeating Trump's false claims of widespread voter fraud and a stolen win, even after election officials and courts across the country repeatedly dismissed those claims. McConnell and his closest allies have said for months that they want to look forward to November 2022 when they have a chance of taking back the Senate and not back to January 2021. The censure was approved last week after an RNC subcommittee watered down a resolution that had recommended expelling the pair from the party. In more national news, the Associated Press says hospitals begin to limp out of the latest COVID-19 surge. Across the U.S., the number of people in the hospital with COVID-19 has tumbled more than 28% over the past 3 weeks to about 105,000 on average, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But the ebbing of the Omicron surge has left in its wake postponed surgeries, exhausted staff members, and uncertainty over whether this is the last big wave or whether another one lies ahead. Another reason for anxiety, COVID-19 hospitalizations aren't even all that low. They are at a level seen in January 2021 amid last winter's surge. Hospitals limped through the Omicron surge with workforces that already were depleted after many staff members quit the profession. The remaining healthcare workers got sick in droves. In some hospitals, office staff was assigned to help make beds. Now many hospitals are still in crisis mode as they work to reschedule people whose hip replacements and even cancer and brain surgeries were put off during the Omicron crisis to free up bed space and nurses to care for COVID-19 patients. In more national news, House okays bill easing budget strains on Postal Service. Congress would lift erroneous budget requirements that have helped push the Postal Service deeply into debt and would require it to continue delivering mail 6 days per week under bipartisan legislation the House approved on Tuesday. The election year bill, coming at a time of widespread complaints about slower mail service, would also require the Postal Service to display online how efficiently it delivers mail to communities. The Senate is working on similar legislation. The Postal Service is supposed to sustain itself with postage sales and other services, but has suffered 14 straight years of losses, the reasons including growing workers' compensation and benefit costs, plus steady declines in mail volume, even as it delivers to 1 million additional locations every year. And finally, in entertainment news, Power of the Dog tops Oscar nominations with 12, Dune nabs 10. After a pandemic year that hobbled movie theaters and saw streaming services make new inroads into Hollywood, the Academy Awards put its strongest support Tuesday behind two films made with big-screen grandeur that were also streamed into homes: The Power of the Dog and Dune. Netflix's The Power of the Dog led nominations to the 94th Academy Awards with 12 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and recognition for all its top actors. Dune followed closely behind with 10 nominations spread out largely in the technical categories. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's our time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, it's all yours.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Willingly accept compliments. Many people find it difficult to accept compliments, yet easy to believe criticism. Sincere compliments are gifts of praise and should be received willingly. There is no reason not to accept the gift of a kind word. The next time someone pays you a compliment, try visualizing the positive energy being sent to you. Being grateful returns this positive energy to the giver. When you reject a person's compliment, instead of a beautiful exchange of energy, an awkward, uncomfortable, negative experience is created. Compliments are rejected, usually, due to a person's lack of self-esteem. Believe good things about yourself. Try giving yourself compliments in the mirror. Notice how this makes you feel. Being sure to smile. Now try giving sincere compliments to others. Realize how great you feel when you see another person's face light up and how differently you feel when your gift is rejected. Today, make a choice to fully accept compliments. And as always, enjoy the day.
George Oliphant of George to the Rescue is in today's Entertainment Spotlight. We're here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Daytime Emmy Award-winning host George Oliphant joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about this year's kitchen and bath industry show and the things that caught his attention. Here's a bit of our conversation. George, thank you so much again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, hey, Cyrus, great to be with you. And I can't, as a home improvement enthusiast, obviously a home improvement television host, and the guy who's just, likes to make homes look a little bit better. The kitchen and bath show is like all the national holidays in one for me, because it's this, this sprawling convention center full of all the newest, the greatest, the coolest things in the world of kitchens, baths, home improvement, and it's really just a feast for the eyes. And I highly recommend, obviously, it might be a little late to get down here for this year's, but circle it for next year now that, it's back up and running, and it is pretty awesome.
Let's start with the kitchen, right? Because that's where a lot of us spend a lot of our time. What are you finding there, George, to help us kind of keep our kitchen in order?
Well, there's so many different things I'm seeing. Every booth is a feast for the eyes. You got to keep the old head on a swivel. But one of the things that really just stood out to me in the kitchen, in the signature kitchen suite, was the award-winning under-counter wine refrigerator. Now, this isn't something that I would normally gravitate to, but it just had I couldn't not pay attention to it. So it's not just for wine aficionados and designers and home chefs. It's really for anyone who likes to, have a little vino at the end of the day and wants somewhere to store it. So what it has is it has wine cave technology, and what that means, and I'm learning all this as I'm here, is that the things that are going to damage your wine, like vibration, light, and changes the temperature and humidity, the wine cave technology prevents that from happening. So when you're storing it in this wine fridge, it also, all these appliances are getting smarter by the day.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll have you guys on tomorrow with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.